We truly are amazing beings. Every part of us works in a precise way to help us survive and evolve as a species. Even stress plays a part in our evolution and progression. What few of us realise is that the response that drives our evolution can also keep us stuck. Together we will define addiction in the context of this module. Then we'll explore how the brain's chemical response of pleasure is closely related to the survival responses that are triggered by stress, unwittingly creating cravings for more of the things you know are not good for your growth. We will finish by looking at how you can consciously become addicted to the things that will serve you, creating a healthy addiction to life. Before we get into the nitty-gritty, let's define addiction in the context of this module. When we're referring to the term addicted, it's in relation to being in a state where you are physically and mentally dependent, consciously or unconsciously, on a thing, thought, idea, feeling, or person. What you want to be able to do is notice what you really are addicted to. What addictions provide intrinsic motivation to move you forward in life, and what are the things you are dependent on, such as people, food, substances, situations, and media, that produce a feeling that ultimately moves you further away from the life you want to experience. Once you identify your addictions, you'll be able to consciously use your brain's subtle urges for good. The world we live in is changing at a rapid pace, and with that change comes opportunities, both good or bad, for us to become dependent on things that may not serve our evolution. For instance, most humans carry a mobile device connected instantaneously to a world of distraction. Often these are not benign distractions, but distractions that are sticky and malevolent, effectively priming your brain for reward and the release of the feel-good neurochemical dopamine. Neuroendocrinologist Robert Sapolsky calls this priming the magic of maybe. When you reach for your device to check email, Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter in search for a response, your brain is really looking for another hit of dopamine. In fact, Sapolsky's research uncovered that you enjoy a 400% spike in dopamine each time you check your device. This is both distracting and addictive. This unconscious addiction has people looking at their phones at least 96 times a day, checking status updates every 10 minutes, including in the middle of the night, during sex, watching a movie, while on the toilet, in bed, and even eating meals with loved ones. What's common in any form of addiction is its ability to increase levels of dopamine, a molecule that sends messages across the brain's reward center. It's what gives you a feeling of pleasure and reinforces behaviours. Initially, this response was to reinforce behaviours that are critical for survival, such as eating food and having sex. However, the reward centre is now reinforcing behaviours that may be detrimental to leading a fulfilled life. Most people are not aware of the way their brain works and its main function of survival and safety through pattern recognition. It loves the safety of the familiar people, places, routines, emotions, and behaviours. It wants to keep you in the safety of the known, regardless of whether it's actually good for you. The brain thrives in the known. You may discover the familiar people, places, routines, negative emotions, and behaviour no longer serve you, and then you decide to make changes, unaware that changing familiar neural pathways will take effort. Sometimes we think we have been successful in making external changes. We may have left a bad relationship and found something better, started surrounding ourselves with different people, moved to a new location, changed our job, created new routines and behaviours, only to discover that we are still experiencing the same unwanted patterns and emotions. The external world changed, but thanks to our brain's need for safety and familiar, our internal world stayed the same. Why does this happen? It happens because the brain may have become addicted to the negative feelings and continues to seek out situations and relationships that feel familiar to satisfy the need for safety. Here's how it happens. When you experience any kind of stressful situation, such as a bad relationship, disagreement, unfulfilling job, health scare, etc., the situation usually causes you to feel a negative emotion. When this happens, the negative emotion triggers your brain and body to move into the automatic survival responses because your emotions are telling it you are under some kind of threat. These are usually short-term survival mechanisms. You are designed to be able to cope with short-term stress using your primitive stress response system. This is how you survive and thrive in the world. However, for most people, once their stress response is activated, they find it hard and sometimes impossible to deactivate it, leading to mental, emotional, and physical turmoil and breakdown. Your body is equipped with an incredible stress response system. When that stress alarm goes off, your brain sends a message to your adrenal glands that a stressful situation has presented itself. The adrenal glands then create a rush of energy by releasing adrenaline, norepinephrine, and cortisol to help deal with the stress. You will know that the adrenal glands have been signaled because you will feel your heart pounding, your muscles will tense up, your attention focuses, you'll begin to breathe faster, you'll sweat, and you'll experience that surge of energy preparing you to get the heck out of the dangerous situation. Understanding what is happening at a chemical level in your body when under stress will help you to make better choices in the moment and prevent the emotions of stress turning into an unwanted vice. Here's a quick breakdown of the chemicals that are produced when your stress response is activated. Norepinephrine is a hormone similar to adrenaline. It's released from the adrenal glands and the brain. Its primary role, like adrenaline, is arousal. It helps to make you more awake, focused, and more responsive. It also helps to shift blood flow away from the areas where it may not be crucial, such as digestion and skin, to more essential areas like the muscles you may need to run away from a stressful situation. Cortisol is a steroid hormone and is produced by the adrenal glands. It takes a little longer, a few minutes, to feel its effects when you are stressed. Optimal amounts of cortisol can be life-saving as it helps to maintain fluid balance and blood pressure while regulating some body functions that aren't crucial in the moment, like reproductive drive, immunity, digestion, and growth. If you constantly stew on a problem or ruminate over something that stresses you, cortisol will continuously release and can cause serious illness. The hormones estrogen and testosterone, along with your neurotransmitters dopamine and serotonin, also affect how you react to stress. These hormones and neurotransmitters are turned on during the stress response and give you that rush of energy, or what we know as an adrenaline rush. This rush of energy causes the brain and body to wake up. The rush feels good and makes us feel alive. This self-made mix of chemicals becomes highly addictive. The long-term impact of a stressful situation will be determined by a number of factors, including what you've learned growing up, the stories you tell yourself about the situation, your ability to see the situation from multiple perspectives, and how you personally handle stress. At a physical level, it could take anywhere from 30 minutes to a couple of days to return to your resting state. And here's the catch. Once you return to your resting state, your brain and body wants more of those chemicals because they made you feel so alive. You then unconsciously begin to associate the problems, stress, and conditions in your life, such as meaningless relationships, negative social media feeds, purposeless work, and drama with that rush of energy, as part of who you are. Your brain ends up becoming dependent and accustomed to the stress chemicals and the negative emotions that these conditions produce. Emotions such as anger, frustration, judgment, sadness, guilt, shame, insecurity, suffering, hopelessness, powerlessness, fear, depression, and even hatred. These highly addictive chemicals endorse who you believe you are and lead to characteristics like selfishness, self-absorption, self-centeredness, self-importance, and even self-pitying. The thing is, these stress chemicals were designed to do this for you. Their purpose is self-preservation and survival. You will see how, for some people, these same tendencies show up in the drama triangle. The victim may be addicted to self-pitying and the feelings of shame, powerlessness, and insecurity. The persecutor could be dependent on self-absorption and the feelings of frustration, judgment, and hatred, and even anger, while the rescuer could be addicted to self-importance and the feelings of guilt, suffering, and pain. When you pay attention to your language, your inner and outer voice, you'll be able to detect any negative emotional addictions that have a hold on you. Notice how often you say or think that you are frustrated, angry, annoyed, etc. This will give you a clue as to what your brain is seeking out. The problem arises when the drama of our life and the chemicals of addiction become so overpowering and hard to break away from that A, we don't even realise they are in control of us, and B, we can't stop them long enough to begin to dream of something else or believe that life could be different. This is why people find it hard to move past the drama in their life, as they are addicted on the deepest level to the chemicals these negative emotions produce. It's completely natural to react to negative situations, whether it be your ex, your dwindling bank account, posts on social media, or the news. However, when you keep that reaction going for extended periods of time, then you're giving your power away to things outside of you. You are allowing people and situations to control your thoughts, feelings, and actions. You are transacting in drama and choosing to step into the role of victim, becoming susceptible to influences outside of you. With your understanding of the conscious, analytical, and subconscious roles of your mind, and knowing that your body is an objective instrument of your mind, it's worth noting that your body stores the trauma from the drama of your life in every fibre of your being. You can also use your emotional intelligence to notice the early triggers and feelings in your body, then shorten the refractory period. This is the length of time it takes for an event to no longer affect you. When you do this, you do two things. You step into the role of a self-author, and you also begin to strengthen your inner world by creating a pattern interruption. You can reload the survival-related emotions like fear, anger, and sadness with elevated emotions like love, joy, and gratitude, and begin to move your body in new ways. When you fully embody the higher emotions such as love and feelings of wholeness and awe, your body will believe it's no longer under threat. When this happens, despite the conditions or threats in your external environment, the body believes it's safe enough to use its energy for growth, repair, and new challenges. Your body and brain is now believing there is no real life threat in the outer environment. Your ability to transmute negative feelings into love, gratitude, and other positive emotions allows your body to switch from the stress response back to a state of homeostasis and rerouting your addiction to something that serves you. Creating elevated emotions has the potential to produce an ecstatic experience. In these moments of awe, or what is known in the world of science as flow, the brain releases norepinephrine and dopamine into our system. Just like when you are stressed, these same addictive neurochemicals are being released, causing your heart rate to increase, tightening your focus, and making you sit up and pay attention. You start to notice more of what's going on around you. Information normally tuned out or ignored becomes more readily available. These same chemicals, while increasing your focus, are also dialing up your brain's pattern recognition abilities, helping you to find new links between all the incoming information. It's these new links that will help you find answers to your problems and ideas for your goals. As these changes are taking place, your brainwaves slow from stressed out beta to alpha, shifting you into daydreaming mode, relaxed, alert, and able to fleet from idea to idea without your inner critic chastising your thoughts. During this process, parts of the prefrontal cortex begin to shut off and dialing down the characteristics of selfishness, self-absorption, self-centeredness, self-importance, and self-pitying. All of these characteristics that come with stress. Instead, you experience the empowering side effects of flow. Things become easy, time is distorted, and your sense of self vanishes as you become totally absorbed in what you are doing. These characteristics of flow often leave you feeling empowered to self-author your life. The other advantages of creating this elevated, altered state is that it turns off the brain's filtering system, giving you access to fresh perspectives and more potential combinations of ideas. As you continue to tune into the elevated emotions, you can experience an afterglow of serotonin and oxytocin, leading to feelings of peace, well-being, trust, and sociability, a very different experience to how we feel after prolonged stress. As you begin to learn about stress and elevated states, you will notice that both the feelings of survival and the elevated emotions of flow rely on shared neural substrates. Stress produces a steady drip of the chemicals cortisol and norepinephrine. However, when in a flow state, the ingredients shift as the stress chemicals are replaced with performance-enhancing, pleasure-producing compounds such as dopamine, endorphins, anandamide, serotonin, and oxytocin. These are the most pleasurable chemicals the brain can produce, making us want more. When psychologist Mihai Csikszentmihalyi did his initial research into flow, his subjects frequently called the state addictive and admitted to going to exceptional lengths to get another fix. He writes that the experience of flow lifts the course of life to another level. Feelings of alienation give way to involvement. Enjoyment replaces boredom. Helplessness turns into a feeling of control. This sounds like a far cry from stress and drama, and when you experience moments of flow, they become intrinsically rewarding and you become addicted to life. Csikszentmihalyi describes people who are internally driven and exhibit a sense of purpose and curiosity as autotelic. This is vastly different from being driven by things such as comfort, money, power, fame, anything external that creates a superficial motivating force. He writes, "An autotelic person needs few material possessions and little entertainment, comfort, power, or fame, because so much of what he or she does is already rewarding. Because such persons experience flow in work, in family life, when interacting with people, when eating, even when alone with nothing to do, they depend less on external rewards that keep others motivated to go on with a life of routines. They are more autonomous and independent because they cannot be as easily manipulated with threats or rewards from the outside. At the same time, they are more involved with everything around them because they are fully immersed in the current of life." When you are addicted to living your best life, whatever that is for you, your to-do list will become a thing of the past. You won't need a calendar reminder or an accountability partner to make sure you do the things that need doing. The intrinsically rewarding nature of the experience will compel you to do it, justifying not only the task itself, but living. Armed with knowledge of your deepest longings and an understanding of exactly how to prime them, you can continually move through the stages of adult development. To do this, you must believe in possibility and have a clear goal that is linked to a purposeful vision. Experiment by creating a vision that scares you. Build an identity around your vision and wrap the identity in elevated emotions. Then, start taking small bites out of that vision with clear goals that create enough stretch that it excites you in a way that your brain signals a healthy stress response that pushes you into a life of flow. Now that you understand these principles, you can consciously design opportunities that create the pleasure-producing neurochemistry that will naturally coax you into a better life. I encourage you to ponder this question. Are you trading your life for the addictive and distracting magic of maybe? Or are you living an autotelic life of purposeful possibility?